Hey VC, this is Glen Kellaway, your low-end music freak, back with another video. This one I'm pretty excited about. I've received or ended up through gifts purchasing a couple of box sets. My wife gave me one of them for an anniversary gift. Our anniversary was on June 26th, so happy anniversary, honey. The other gift was I picked up from Amazon using some of a gift certificate that my daughters gave me for my birthday. So I also got a couple other pretty cool items through the VC. So let me get started. First of all, I want to show you some items. So what happened was I was watching the Vinyl Guru's channel. I love the Vinyl Guru, by the way. Hi, Christina. She mentioned Led Zeppelin in one of her videos. I commented and let her know that I had seen Led Zeppelin at the O'Keefe Center in Toronto in 1969. Now, the O'Keefe Center holds about 2,500 people, so it was a pretty small venue to see Led Zeppelin. I was fortunate enough to see them before they really, got huge and started doing the stadium and arena shows. Great show. I'll never forget it. It was just prior to the second album being released, is what I remember. Anyway, I did mention this in a comment to the Guru, and a gentleman who was watching the video saw my comment, and he commented to me that he had some kind of a poster or some kind of an artifact from that concert and asked if I was interested. So we went on our Instagram pages and he sent me a photo of what he had and asked me if I was interested. Well, I was very interested. So this gentleman lives in Toronto, in the west end of Toronto, and I live like an hour and a half east of Toronto. So we made arrangements for me to come out to his house. He also had a couple other interesting things. So I went out to visit my new friend Dominic. Dominic, if you're watching, hello. Dominic is an awesome guy. Huge Frank Zappa fan. Just got a ton of Zappa stuff. He's a completist in terms of the records and stuff, and the posters and thing he has is incredible. But he also collects a lot of stuff. He has a great collection of transistor radios. He has some Beatles memorabilia and just a lot of cool stuff. Anyway, so this is the Zeppelin thing that he had. It's advertising the show. It's more of a handbill, but it's about 12 inches by 8 inches. See Edward Bear, who was the opening act. They were a Toronto band. Edward Bear with Led Zeppelin. And that was November 2nd, 1969. Gives you the prices of the tickets. $3.50, $4.50, and $5.50. How's that? Anyway, I ended up with this. It's really cool. I'm trying to find a frame that'll fit it. That's as soon as that happens, it's proudly being displayed on my wall. So that's very cool. So while I was there, he also had, which I showed in a video on Sunday I did about the train festival, because I was at the train festival, Festival Express. So I ended up with this too, Festival Express. It's called a rumper sticker. It's like a cloth sticker. I guess you're supposed to stick on your ass or your jeans when you're at the show. Anyway, that's an original artifact from that legendary festival that I also attended. So I'm really cool to get that as well. And The Who, in 1968, played a show in Toronto at the C&E Coliseum. This is the handbill from that show, an original handbill. How's that? The Who, the Trogs, MC5, C&E Coliseum, 7 p.m. I just love this. It's another thing that's going to get framed and hung on my wall. Couldn't be cooler. Dominic, you were an awesome guy. Dominic and I are definitely going to get together when all this social distancing and all this COVID crap is behind us, which I can't wait. Okay, so on to my gifts. First one, anybody who's watched my videos closely knows I have two acts that I put on a pedestal. above every other musical act in history. That is the Beatles and Bob Dylan. Everybody else you can rank where you want, from third to 100th, I don't care. My list kind of changes, but the two names that never change are Bob Dylan and the Beatles. So, also, I think everybody knows I sold off my most recent record collection probably 7 years ago or 6 years ago, whatever it was. And two of the things I sold off were my Beatles box sets, the stereo and the mono box sets. They're probably the only things I really regret. Other than that, everything was kind of replaceable. So I ended up buying the mono box set again. You know, I paid a fairly steep price for it, but still not as high as it's going for on the internet. I got a pretty good deal from a guy, so I could afford that, and it was kind of the holy grail. But I wanted the stereo box, and Amazon put some on sale for a pretty good price. They're all out of stock now again, so I'm glad I jumped on it when I did, or told my wife to jump on it, and so I ended up with the Beatles stereo box set. Now I know some people slam this, the rainbow pressings versus the Optima, the European pressings. My set sounds fine. I've listened to all these albums since I got it last Friday, and it's an awesome set. I'm just so pleased to have this. It's you have no idea what it means to me. So I'm sure you've all seen it before, but I'm going to show it to you again. So there's a gorgeous book that comes with it. No sense showing you the black. Look at that, the black album. They should have done that instead of the white album. Pages and pages of pictures, stories about the albums. Awesome book, just awesome. Now these pressings are digital. That's the big complaint with them. Some people say they weren't pressed very well. I'm telling you, I'm listening to them. I think they sound fantastic. There's Please Please Me with the Beatles, Hard Day's Night, Beatles for Sale, Help, Rubber Soul, Revolver, my favorite Beatles album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Actually, my favorite album of all time is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Magical Mystery Tour. There's a Yellow Submarine album in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. I guess we go for the white album first. Then the Yellow Submarine album. Abbey Road. And Beatles Past Masters. I love the Past Masters album. It's great. It's got all the kind of singles that weren't on the original UK Beatle albums. Love Me Do, From Me to You, Thank You Girl, She Loves You, I'll Get You, I Want to Hold Your Hand, This Boy. And then the German versions of She Loves You and I Want to Hold Your Hand. I'll tell you, my favorite sides are sides 3 and 4. So side 3 is Day Tripper, We Can Work It Out, Paperback Rider, Rain. Now, if anybody thinks Ringo's not a good drummer, listen to Rain. The guy's drumming on that song is fantastic. Lady Madonna's on there, The Inner Light. I love George's sitar stuff. Hey Jude and Revolution, the fast version of Revolution. Side 4, Get Back, Don't Let Me Down, one of John's greatest songs. Ballad of John and Yoko, Old Brown Shoe. I don't think that gets a lot of love in the Beatles canon, but one of my favorite Beatles songs is Old Brown Shoe. Across the Universe, Let It Be, and the Crazy You Know My Name, Look Up the Number. Great set. I'm so freaking proud to have it. I've got them both displayed on shelves in the corner of my room, and just so excited. Next, I mentioned it. I can't let the Beatles take the whole show. My other favorite artist, Bob Dylan. The Bob Dylan mono recordings. Now this is another one box set that I had when I sold my box sets. It is not gone as pricey crazy as these Beatles sets, so it wasn't as hard to replace. Great book that comes with it. Bob Dylan, the original mono recordings, lots of pictures and reading information there for you. The first 8 Bob Dylan albums, I believe. There's his first album, Bob Dylan. The Great Freewheelin'. If you talk about the Beatles, this is the album that really influenced the Beatles. You hear it, start to hear it on a bit on Help with You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, and more with Norwegian Wood and songs like that John wrote. The lyrics became much more introspective after they were influenced by this. The Times They Are Changing. Great covers too. It's still got the kind of, I don't know what they call that cover. It's not smooth. Rough, maybe. Another side of Bob Dylan. It's when he tried to get away from all the political stuff to show that he was just a songwriter. The start of the great trio of albums, Bringing It All Back Home. Highway 61, fantastic album. My favorite Dylan album, and tied for #1 greatest album of all time, Blonde on Blonde. And last but not least, another one of my favorite Bob Dylan albums, John Wesley Harding. So that's all the cool stuff I have here. Really excited to have this stuff. I'm going to let you go so I can turn my stereo on and start listening to some music. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and give me a couple of likes here and there. That's appreciated too. Remember, I have a contest running. It ends, I'm going to do the draw on August 1st. So far I've received 2 entries. I'm hoping we'll flood the VC with entries. We are giving away a $25 gift certificate for Amazon.com if you're one of my American winners, and if you're Canadian, we'll do Amazon.ca, and if you're somewhere in Europe or Australia or wherever, we'll figure something out. So thanks again for watching and all your support, and talk to you soon.